So I'm Carolyn Sable, and I'm the first vice president of the Schenectady Business and Professional Women's Club. And I wanted to introduce our presenter tonight, who is Mary Cheeks. Mary Cheeks is the general manager of the Rivers Casino. She grew up in Atlantic City and has 30 years experience in the casino and gaming business.
I started at age 2.
She comes from 2 casinos down in Pennsylvania. She was at a casino in Pittsburgh and a casino in Philadelphia, and she has been in the finance area of the casino, so that's fascinating. So, Mary?
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me here today. All right, I understand you want to hear a little bit about my background, and I'm going to be somewhat brief to open it more up to a question and answer period, just to make sure I'm touching on various subjects that you really want to hear about. So, I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but raised in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I went to college at Trenton State College, now known as the College of New Jersey. Upon graduation, well, I should say in my junior year, there were multiple businesses coming to seek everyone out for internships. So for the top 25 in their class, they had choices. Do you go to a CPA firm, to the IRS, to an investment banker? It's just a whole assortment of jobs. My desire was to go be an investment banker or work on Wall Street. I wasn't selected for that internship, so my fallback was the Internal Revenue Service. It was the only one that would have me. So I interned during the junior year in Newark, New Jersey, working for the IRS to train to be a field auditor revenue agent. Upon graduation, I was offered a job. I didn't have any other option and didn't want to move back to Atlantic City now with my independence and being away from parents. So my transfer from the New York office to the Trenton office with the IRS, and it really wasn't the job I thought it would be, and I was young, not really knowing what I wanted, and I just didn't fit and feel comfortable in that position. So I worked there almost 2 years and decided, okay, let me figure out what else do I do. So I started working for the Housing Authority in nonprofit accounting. The Atlantic Hair Mental Health Center, and I found fund accounting is the most difficult accounting you want to do. It seems backwards from my normal debits and credits, and I didn't enjoy that either. So I said, all right, since I'm back home in Atlantic City, what is this casino all about? I didn't know, how it worked, how a finance or accounting or a business degree would fit into a casino area. So I interviewed for a senior accountant and a supervisor for internal audit, and I was hired as a supervisor of internal audit. It was fascinating because I seen that it was like 20 more businesses under one roof. You had marketing, you had finance, you had economics part of it with all your statistical data mining, as well as your typical finance. And then you had the parts that was unknown to me, the table games, the slots, the surveillance, the cashiering function. So because the regulators require you to do certain compliance audits, and then your management team requires operational audits, and your outside auditor financial audits, it was a way for the first 3.5 years of the casino career, I really ground up, learned the operation. So working hard at that, I got promoted to a hotel controller, where you control the proceeds from hotel and food and beverage. Subsequently, I was promoted to Director of Finance and then to VP of Finance. Thinking initially that I wanted to be out of the casino business because at one point there was a sale, multiple sales of the casino I worked for, Resorts International, and at one point Merv Griffin owned it, and it was funny with him being in the entertainment field. Whenever he came to the project, management would have to line up, the men would have to shake his hand, and the women would have to give him a beer. So that was the requirement there. But subsequently, Sun International purchased the And something that was very foreign to me, they had their own management team. No matter how much I thought I knew and the job I was so committed to, they were like, thanks, but no thanks to everyone that was a VP or a director level because they had their own team. So after that, that was very hurtful to me, and it wasn't personal, it was business, but I was like, well, how can they let me go? I'm like so good at my job. But I said, all right, maybe the casinos are not for me, so I started working for S&G, which is a management company of convention centers and arenas. And that also was just too slow paced. Once you work at a casino, it's like an adrenaline job. So I just couldn't get used to that, and I started working for Caesars Entertainment. At that time, I was CFO for the Harris and Showboat property, but overseeing all 4 casinos, which was Bally's and Caesars, as it relates to payroll, AP, purchasing, and general ledger. So I found that I was so operationally intense, I didn't really want to fall back on the debit credit side of the business. So we went from a public company to a private company. During the economic downturn, I should say it was 6 months before it, the job became really a totally different position, where my position really was, okay, come up with a list of how to cut costs. Once you cut so much costs in an operation, your largest expense is payroll and marketing. And of course, no one wants to cut marketing because that's how you grow your top line revenue. So it became, a labor cut. And I was like, no, this isn't what I do. I grow business to have a healthy bottom line, and it's time for me to leave Caesars Entertainment. So I looked, and I was looking at Penn International, but then it was this small company that I hadn't heard much about called Rush Street Gaming. And what really struck me, or stuck in my head was, all right, here's a company that has a great reputation, that they really value their team members and reward you for a great job, and they have 3 core values that are my core values in this hospitality industry. You give great customer service, you reward and you value your team members, and everything you do must be of the highest integrity. So I said, okay, that's a job I want. So I was being offered a job with Rush Street Gaming, and I figured that job was regional over their PA properties, and I said, how the heck do I commute from Philadelphia and Pittsburgh living in Atlantic City? So I was recently divorced, I should say separated, I'm calling myself legally divorced now. But I said, all right, it's time to fly the coop. At the time, I had a 21-year-old. And I said, I'm going to have my sister, who just moved from Alaska, to move into my house, take care of my kids, and I'm going to be about career. So I lived out of my suitcase for the last 6 years until I moved here to Schenectady. And Rush Street Gaming is a great company to work for, and they live to those core values. So I'm very proud to be the GM of Rivers Casino and work for Rush Street. So that's my background. Could I answer any questions about my background or for Rivers Casino? Yes.
Go live. What you got to live of?
Yes, that's our philosophy. Go live, but I have to be honest.
Get young people and say, oh, because I tell you, I look at that and I think, I will be sure of my life.
We've gotten a lot of mixed opinions about that commercial. And because a commercial is so expensive to make, the commercial was created for our Chicago Des Plaines property. And because we're Rivers in Des Plaines and Rivers in Pittsburgh, and now Rivers in Schenectady, what we found is that commercial resonates very, very well in Des Plaines. Did okay in Pittsburgh, and based on the feedback, I think it's not doing so well in Schenectady. Yeah, I heard that a lot. You either have the one guy that thinks you make you think of rough, and you have another, the Russian guy that no one really cared for, and I was like, okay, well maybe we should care them. Any other questions?
How have you been doing with your personnel? I know you had to hire a lot of staff. How's that going?
Pretty good. We're up to 900 team members with our target being 1,100.
900?
Yes.
For the casino?
Yes. And that's not including the hotel, that's, we're open by mid-July. So it's doing pretty good. Like at one point, Delago was opening February 1st, we were opening February 8th, and we just inundated the New York Gaming Commission with licensing, because regardless of your position, you need to be licensed. So we would get some as quick as 2.5 weeks, and some team members, it took 3, 4, 5, 6 months. So it was trying to understand, you know, which ones we would get quick license and which one would take a while to balance the hiring, because we didn't want to give up on any of our team members. So we have about 60 in the pipeline waiting for license, and others are part-time and dealer school.
If I may ask, what licensure? Through what department of New York State?
It's the New York State Gaming Commission licensing unit.
Oh, so every single person that works for you has to have a license?
Every single person.
Oh,
That's right, Treasurer. How long did it take you to get it?
From December, I had everybody, okay.
So about 2 months?
I go on the store, anyway, they got the license.
Yes.
So it's a clearance.
Right. You have to give your tax return information. Yeah, it's very intrusive from the key license standpoint and the gaming license.
It's fascinating. I have no idea the level of, but.
I
Yes.
don't know if I had a question so much for a comment. I think with your background, that they certainly found the right person to be the general manager of this casino. I think that they're very fortunate to have you. So,
Thank you for that.
we certainly appreciate you taking the
I
time.
appreciate you taking me out of work.
Oh, by the way, I was telling you that our fundraiser here recently for the Hamilton Arts Center.
Yes.
And I think it was one of the first events that
It
started
was.
here. And I tell you, the buffet that you guys put on for that event was ridiculous.
Right, I couldn't make it and I was very nervous. So February 27th, our first one.
Yes, it was delicious, and the staff was wonderful and very accommodating, and it was a very, very nice event. I mean, there was plenty of food for people to eat, so it was delicious.
Thank you.
See, that's what the public doesn't hear.
I know. I complained earlier about social media and how, like, you know, I don't want to read it anymore. I hate Facebook now.
So I'm a Jersey girl too.
All right, Jersey girl.
I'm not surprised at your success because all Jersey girls are. But I moved my dad up from New Jersey, from Elizabeth, and from the family home where Grandpa lived originally a year ago. And he said, I only want to live long enough to have the casino open because I miss Atlantic City so much. So my 90-year-old father was at your opening day. He may have been your oldest person walking through the door because the showgirls open. Are you finding you're pulling an inordinate number of our seniors? Because we have a pretty big senior community here in Schenectady.
Not as much as I would expect, but I'm getting feedback that we need to basically do bus tours, which will be more helpful in a social event, and there's a lot of interest in buffets. Which don't have this buffet, but we're gonna theme it, like we'll have the Easter buffet, Mother's Day brunch.
Well, he gave away $200 each for that day.
Good, glad to hear you.
So thank you. I just have a question about your entertainment. Do you, are you in relations with that at all? With the
Say that
entertainment part?
Well, we have like small bands.
Yeah, that was my question for music. So
Yes,
is it in contract that it's out of state and it's not local musicians and you cannot?
No, I think for the most part they're local. Right now, Proctor's, they procure all of our bands and sound
When
jacks.
I first went on your website, I was very surprised to see they were all out of state. And it was through
Are you
one-
certain?
Yeah, it was through one production company. I was absolutely shocked. So,
Is it Jerome Rivers? Because now Rivers Pittsburgh?
yeah, I don't
Does
know.
Rivers-
So somebody correct me. So
I work for Proctor,
So
and
we
it's
have local.
predominantly local, it's every single one is local as far as I know, and the guy who books all music is 3 cubes down from my office.
And that's Sal, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's local.
Does
Local
Phil
band.
Morris do your music?
Yes.
Well, Philip Morris doesn't directly do it, but it's under
The
his
Proctor.
leadership.
Okay, so that's what I was very curious about, just to bring in more locals to hear the music that they don't hear locally.
And just because I arrived in the summer and got to experience Johnny's on State Street, I forget the nights that they would do the outdoor bands, which they have a lot of great bands. I know we've had 3 of them. I don't know the name of the young lady with the voice. Mia. Yes, we did Mia
She's
twice.
wonderful, yeah. So I haven't seen, she's there, she's been there, because I know
Yes.
she went to the opening of it, but
Okay.
I didn't see her scheduled there.
Now, I know on Saturday night, that band, which travels, was a Jersey band. Outside of that, I think everybody's been in a local New York within the capital region.
Great.
And we also have like pianists, violinists, and guitarists in the Duke's Lounge.
Well, that's awesome.
And they're all,
Great, thank you. Mary?
yes, sir.
We also heard that you were going to have women-owned shops there. Is that still?
Now, the Mohawk Harbor will have retail shops, and I don't know if that's the reference, but in terms of the only retail area, what we'll call it, the spa, that's outsourced, is woman-owned. But that's only one, like, as far as our gift shop, everything we own and operate ourselves. So the only thing outsourced thus far is the spa, which is women. Yes.
The casino hotel, you said it's to open in the summer?
Yeah, well, because I want to open it with great service, they tell me from a construction timeline that the certificate of occupancy is targeted June 20th. So we're going to put team members and ask them to be our worst critic for 2 weeks and try to open right after 4th of July if that timeline holds true.
And is it a particular brand?
I know it's independent. I can't announce the name. We want to make a real public blitz out of it, but it's not a Hilton or Marriott.
Okay.
Yes.
Mary, thanks for coming out and speaking. It's
Thanks for
nice
having
hearing you. I was wondering, since this is a new casino, what kind of hours do you put in per week? You must be super busy as a general manager. And do you think once it gets settled, you'll be able to get to a regular kind of schedule?
Well, it's hard because to be honest, I'm a bit of a workaholic, and now since I'm an empty nester, I feel like I'm getting a little worse. My week is, I work 6 days a week, and I try to take a full weekend off once a month. So normally I get in at like 10 a.m. and I stay to 9 p.m. on my Monday through Thursday. Friday I get in about 11 to noon, probably closer to noonish, and I stay to 2 a.m. And then on Saturday I come in at 4 p.m. and I stay to 4 a.m. And then Sunday I veg out.
So the casino is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, is that correct?
Correct. Never close the doors.
Okay, do you have busy times in the middle of the night, like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning?
Well, we find our most constrained day is Saturday, which I found pretty close to us opening. I think we got to a high of like 6,700 people, and it was terribly uncomfortable. And you just couldn't move around. So we don't have counters, but through the 2, what we call our checkpoint trolleys to make sure no underage enters. I have them counting on Saturday because parking becomes constrained. I think we have like a little shy 1,800 parking spots. Stopping it at 3,500. That's enjoyable for everyone. You can still move around comfortably, get to a slot or table or the bar or the eateries. So Saturday we cut it off at 3,500. I'm going to say outside of Saturday, I don't know, maybe 2,000 people a day come through on average.
Now, in the years to come, I'm not sure what type of contract you have or anything, are you looking into expanding? I mean, could it be built up, or is this the...
Well, in terms of the gaming floor, we're looking at where can we go? Because it has to be beyond the footprint. Right now, we're finding that we don't get full benefit of our Rush Rewards Center. That's where you sign up for the player card. You can also do that within the cashiering window, at the pits and various locations around the floor. So we're studying that, but more immediately, we're definitely going to expand Poker Room.
So can you go up, or do you go out, or is you have to stay within the confines of where you are now?
And I'm not sure of the zoning, but I'm pretty sure we could go both, up and out. And what most casinos do to keep like I guess their footprint, their view, and not to take too much land, is build up. But I leave that to the Chicago folks. They always like to tell me instead of asking me. Oh, I'm recording, sorry. Edit that out, please. Okay. Yes.
Mary, do you get a lot of people that come in overnight? Because that would be when I would want to come. These guys all know, I send emails at 2 in the morning.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Yes, I would say, probably, if you look, we measure everything we do and monitor customers. If you look at the overall coin in, it's at its height between 2 p.m. and 8 p.m. And then that's, the height, and then it's on its shoulders. You see a huge drop off from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then it starts on the uptick again. But the place is never empty.
It's never.
Right.
Meet you there at 4 o'clock tomorrow.
See, by 4 o'clock I'm sleeping.
Well, I hear a lot of people say they like to come early in the morning or late at night because they don't like a lot of people around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are the chances of winning better at a certain point?
I don't know slot machines, but typically speaking, your whole percentage is better in high denomination games just because it's just such a high amount. Like who would want to play $25 or $10 a hand? First table games, the odds are most favorable on blackjack. It's almost a 50-50 ratio between one of us. And we're going to start doing instructional games so people can understand blackjack and craps, and eventually we'll go to our boxes. Once we get down to staff, yes. We get tons of requests for $5 games, and once we do the instructional sessions, we're going to have that overall pit be a $5 pit for a few hours afterwards. But we have enough table games to do that, we just don't have enough tables. And you always spread your table to your demand. So that's why you see 10, 15, and 25 going up. Yes?
Do you have any tour buses coming into the casino yet?
We're trying to develop that. We haven't done it all now. But I'm getting worried that people think that we have school buses there because I think school bus drivers on their lunch break, they're not in. It's no kids in there. We keep chasing away that yellow school bus. We're keeping it out of there. Any other questions? Yes.
Rush Street is certainly a brand in and of itself, but it's actually, I know you have a lot of boutique properties, it's like a smaller company. How much influence do they have? Like, how corporate is it among your properties? Do each have their own personality? How much leeway do you have as a general manager in these decisions?
I joke that, when it comes to construction, our CEO, if you look at the finishes on the property, he just has an eye for it. He's a great designer of buildings. Most of our properties are regional casinos and built somewhat compact, except for the one where we, in Pittsburgh, basically the original owner, Don Martin, ran out of money, so we partnered with him to take it over and to complete the construction. It's a very large facility. In terms of each of the 4 properties, they have very distinct personalities. When we had the sister properties come in and assist for opening, they would say, oh, your combination of Des Plaines and Pittsburgh. The Sugar House property, and I don't know if anyone's spent any amount of time in Philly, it's a very scrappy town. They blow the horns at you, they move quick, and it's, people tend to say, this is not a friendly town. The team members are extremely friendly, but the customers, like, okay, get me in, everything moves super fast, and as a result, it's in a very urban area. The uniforms are more relaxed, it's not suit and tie, it's, call it our least corporate facility. So I don't like to be too tight, and I don't want to be too loose, so I'm in the middle, and I do have the leeway to come up with that. In terms of our training, our service expectations, that's uniform across all Western Gate. Yes?
I don't believe the Rivers has a dress code for people that are coming in. Do any of the other
Well, our sign just went up, it was supposed to be there for opening, it says no hoodies, no sunglasses, no showing of underwear. I'm sure it doesn't say it just blatantly. It kind of says that you need to be appropriately dressed. You can't have your shoes off walking in with them in your hand. So we're really tightening up on our dress code, and it's now posted in some summary fashion along with the requirements that you have to be 21, no firearms, and something else that the gaming regulators ask. So, and I'm going to say all of our casinos have some sign posting in terms of dress requirement.
Mary, what about metal detectors?
No, we don't have metal detectors, and I've honestly never seen one in a casino. And it's probably uninviting to customers. What initially, my thought process was, I spent a lot of time in Saratoga kind of scoping the place out before we opened. And what I was told is that there's a stigma with Schenectady that it's unsafe, and Saratoga is safe. So initially I was going to have the Schenectady police at the door to give that law enforcement visibility and safeness, and then I thought, no, maybe that'll make the feel of being unsafe. However, reading Facebook, I now have them at the door on weekends. Just, figure out, balance it out. I'm trying to feel out the market, and I get mixed feelings. It seems like the casino pulled a lot of folks together that aren't really comfortable being with each other. So I'm trying to talk to the customers and say, it's adult entertainment, it's okay, no one's gonna rob you, hurt you, curse you, and if they do, we have so much security around. Push the button on your slot machine to light the lights, and we'll handle the situation immediately. We have the ability to fire our customers. What I mean by that, if you misbehave, you don't get one chance, permanently evicted. So we're hoping that word gets out and everybody comes in and behaves, and everybody's welcome. Because we want everyone to come in and enjoy us.
How do they do that? Like, how do they do that?
Surveillance.
Do they walk, so we win somebody, they walk you to the car?
Oh, absolutely. Either our personal security that has the security vehicles to do that, and if you're there on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, also Schenectady PD will do that. You have to sit in the back of the car. Just fair warning. Yes.
What's been your biggest payout so far? It's just amazing.
I believe our largest payout is a $44,000
That
jackpot.
wasn't my dad, that wasn't my dad. Tell us.
Do you
Yes.
find a lot of turnover with your employees, or is it a job that most people enjoy and stay for the long term?
Initially, I think we didn't put everybody in the perfect fit. We had quite a few dealers say that, I thought I could do this, but I can't. Some of them were willing to take positions in cashiering or slot attendant or security. Many of them, and I'm going to say it's probably about a dozen, said I just don't like the casino environment. Then we're finding, not unknown to us, we hired a lot of retirees that had caps on how much money they could make and really want schedules to, and when you're a dealer, your totes is not always predictable. You could have a $30 an hour tote versus a $15 an hour tote. So that wasn't the right position for someone that needed to control their income. So we have some of those situations we're still trying to work through to see how to fit that individual.
Can you tell us about your partnership, if there is one, with Schenectady Community College and the new initiatives they have on gaming?
Yes, we partnered with Schenectady Community College, and our initial goal was to have our dealer school there, but it was such a big space requirement with their system, we couldn't follow that through. And we work closely with the gaming school. We're going to be doing internships, one per semester, not one person, but an internship per semester. We're going to try to fit that person into the gaming side, the hotel side, the marketing, in the various functional areas, and also working closely with the culinary school. So, between the community college and the SEEK Center, and the Department of Labor and all the various workforce agencies really worked well with us and was extremely helpful getting us open with team members. Yes.
My daughter was there, and she actually worked there. And she said that you are very sweet and that all the employees really appreciate.
That's great to hear because I like to lead by example, and I don't like to think of myself as manager of the casino, just another team member to try to, give a great customer service experience. And I have to say, and I think you could validate for me, the cage cashier is an extremely difficult position. I can handle money very well. I'm horrible at handling chips. I would have a variance every day. That's good. It's the thing, we call it the cage, but because, it's protected cash area, that's our reference.
Ms. Berry, is it the case if you're an employee that you cannot gamble at a casino?
Well, they started the law originally saying you can't gamble anywhere in New York. That's been changed, that you can't gamble at the same class facility that you work at. So I could go to Saratoga or Turning Stone and gamble, but I could not go to Del Lago and eventually Montreal and Annapolis.
So if someone were to be a former employee, they would then be treated like the rest of the general public and could come back and be a member of the general public? As a
Yes, as
former
long as
employee?
you're not actively working.
So you're torn between wanting to work in this fabulous place, but you never get to actually taste the food?
Right, well, and a lot of team members turned down positions because they said they enjoy gambling. And I didn't realize that poker, really, I guess you could supplement your income, but if you're a good poker player. And it was pretty critical to some people to be able to gamble.
I wonder if that was one of the reasons you came to gamble.
Exactly.
So you mentioned that Del Lago, and we know that Del Lago opened around the same time. Has there been a way to track attendance of where people are coming from to Rivers? Has you seen an increase from people outside of the Capital District or from other parts of New York State?
Well, yes, again, we only could measure what's going on with our customers through our players card, Russian reward card. And what was surprising to me, I didn't realize that the capital region kind of closed down, or schools did, for winter break. So I thought, okay, President's Weekend, President's Day, and that's it. And I said, okay, well, why do we have so much business? And it was because that Monday the 20th, the schools were closed. And I'm assuming it was also in Massachusetts. We saw a lot of Massachusetts customers. Specifically Springfield, so I guess that'll go away in fall of 2018 when they have their own casino. But right now, we're getting a lot of visitation from that area.
I just had two things. It seems like there's a lot of opportunities there with the casino. So it might be a nice opportunity for people who are graduating from high school that are not looking to go on to college, and that there's opportunities for them to work their way up, start at a certain level in the casino, maybe work their way up to more management positions. In particular, since the college is also doing some programs there to kind of help with, casino management. And then my other thing was, you mentioned buffets, and I want to get crab legs. So
We're going to do a seafood.
just throw that out there.
It's an interesting point that you made about the colleges and the younger kids that don't go to college. And maybe because of my own biases and with my own kids, I felt that if they got into the casino world, growing up in Atlantic City and money would be too good, they wouldn't go away to college. So here I struggled and I thought, no, since you gotta be 21 and older to enter the casino, you should be 21 and older to work at a casino. But quite frankly, after I sort of struggled with hiring 1,100 team members, I said, okay, I'm changing the rules. For gaming, you have to be 21 and above. But in food and beverage or any of the other jobs that's not on the gaming floor, you can be 18.
Oh, and by the way, is it possible to have like bigger size shorts so people, those little girls are very cute down there, but.
The cocktail servers?
Yeah, I can't fit.
Yeah, we gotta rethink. We gotta rethink the uniform.
Now, everything are so.
looking for, the Director of Food Beverage did. I'm not voting that, but we're looking at it. Any other questions? All right, thank you again.
Thank you very much for being our guest.
All right, thank you for having me.
Thank you.